Hi there and hello, my name is Connor. Kyou no dogu de wa Hoshino gen no gen ni tsuite hanashitemasu. So I want to start off by saying this. I hate this man. I hate him with all of my heart, with all of my passion, with every fiber in my body. And that's because he is married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, and it should have been me. It should have been me. It's not fair. I'm not happy about it. And so for that reason, I have to rate this album a 0 out of 10. So with that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I will admit that is actually how I wanted to make this video. I have to give it a fair shot, and so that's what I think I will do. So let's start over and actually talk about this album, even if I've got a little bit of a chip on my shoulder even still. Who is Gen Hoshino? He is a singer, songwriter, also producer. He also acts. He kind of does it all. He is everywhere. He's super popular, and I can see why, even if I don't respect it. And that's just a joke for the record. I want to talk about this album in a lot of ways. However, for the most part, I don't really have a lot of good things to say about this album, and I'm actually not making a joke that time. I don't really like this. But like I said, I gave it a fair shot. I tried my best. I think I did okay, but there is just a lot here that I just do not really like. So first, let's talk about his singing. Right off the bat, I gotta say, he has a really good voice. He's a good, accomplished singer. I love his singing, but for whatever reason, there is so much pitch correction across this entire album. Like for instance, there is one song called Mad Hope. Way too much there. I just find it so distracting there and on almost every song on this entire album. On top of that too, there is so much vocal layering on so many of the songs here that it is also kind of like, chill, I can hear you. I don't really think you need like 6 vocal layers on a lot of these verses and choruses. It's really distracting. The very first song is called Create, and I just find that that is very guilty of having way too much pitch correction too. On this song specifically, I think it's mainly because of the use of the electronic production here. He sounds like a Vocaloid, or he sounds like AI. It's just so weird. He can sing really well, so I don't know why this is the sound he went with. Like I keep saying, he has a good voice. Let me hear his voice, god damn. What I will say though is that I actually like a lot of the instrumentation on this entire album. Like, I actually like it a lot. And a lot of it is actually done by Gen himself, so hats off to him. But there are some exceptions to that still too though. Like that very first song, it is super cool because it samples the GameCube startup sound, as well as some other video game sounds. However, it is just kind of annoying to listen to, and it sounds way too much like that one song, My Life is Like a Video Game. It sounds just like that, and it's so weird and distracting, and I just don't really gel with that in the slightest. However, there is another fantastic song in here, which is called Kurayami, and I like that a lot because it's just him and his guitar. And wow, who knew? He's a good singer and plays the guitar really well, and it's a really sweet song, and I like that one a lot. Unfortunately though, it's kind of an exception to the rule on this album, I find. Another large component of this album is the use of a lot of features, most of which are not Japanese, which in theory is super cool and a fun idea. In execution, in reality, I don't think a lot of them really work. Like, why the fuck is Y being recorded on this album? And why does it sound like he recorded his verse in a hotel elevator? Why Corday? I don't get it. There's another song on this album called Mad Hope, and that song is kind of cool. It is very jazzy, it's kind of R&B, and that's because it features Lewis Cole, Sam Gendel, and also Sam Wilkes. However, this song isn't really doing anything for me. I will say, Lewis sounds really good, as usual. However, Gen does not. What's more is that he has actually explained a lot of his thought process for writing this album, and it seems like a lot of focus was put on these international features. And so I think the idea had really good intentions and very artistic intentions. However, it feels more so to me like the label said, what's that? Worldwide appeal just from having features? Let's do it. And so for that reason, it sort of seems like they only allowed it because of this kind of promotional opportunity with the other fan bases of these other artists. And I know you're probably saying, Well, that's not fair. There is no way the label mandated that just for promotional purposes. And to that I say, really? Because there is a 3-year-old song on here, which is the Spy Family ending song from the first season. And that is so old, but it's so popular. Of course it's on this damn album, because it needs to sell units, baby. That's why. What I will say is this song, even in 2025, is still a bop. I like it a lot. It's called Comedy. You've probably heard it if you've seen that show. It is a really good song. And again, Gen sounds fantastic there because it's not overloaded with all of these vocal effects that just make it sound robotic. Okay, so are some of these songs catchy? Actually, yes. There is one song on here called Star, and I like it a lot. And that's primarily because it just sounds like very classic sounding Gen. I also have to say that I really love the percussion arrangement that Gen made for the song Glitch. It sounds fantastic, it's insane, and I just don't really have anything bad to say about that song at all. It's sort of like a drum and bass song mixed with like acid jazz. It's super cool. So I really have to applaud him for that one. I just feel like this song has a lot of really cool ideas, but just really like mid-level execution on his part. So honestly, I went into this album hoping for a 6. I just wanted it to not be like mid. Oh man, I hope it's a 6. I would love for it to be more. I feel like a 6 is fair no matter what. He is so big, he's so popular, he's so talented. There is no way he does not stick the landing here. And unfortunately, that was not the case. There is not a lot that I really like about it. There are some songs, though, that I do really, really like. However, a lot of the rest of it really weighs it down massively for me. I think this album is going to appeal to someone, to some sort of fan of his, but I am just not that fan apparently, and that's unfortunate, but you also can't just make an album for everyone. So I think in this case, I am just an outlier in this regard. I am going to give this a 4 out of 10. Most of that score comes from how out of the ordinary it sounds, and I actually mean that as a positive in this case. I would have actually rated this even lower, but I love a lot of the production here. I just think that it's doing too much heavy lifting, and it really shouldn't be. Here is my final take. Lyrics, boring. Gen should sound good, but does not. The instrumentals, pretty good in most cases. Unfortunately, some songs like that very first one just are grating to me. And again, that's primarily because of the weird vocal effects that are just littered throughout this album that I just do not like at all. Because again, Gen doesn't need them. He's good. He's Gucci. He does not need all of this, like post-production. It's just almost like sad to actually like hear sometimes for me. Yeah, I'm just very sad to say that this is a 4 out of 10. I think a part of it too is that this album is so long. It's almost an hour, and I have only listened to it 4 times because I don't want to listen to it anymore. I can't stand a lot of this here. I think maybe I would like it more as an instrumental album, I guess, but I think what would have actually made me enjoy this a lot more is, first off, obviously, less vocal effects. 2, cut off some of these goddamn filler songs. They just do not sound good in my opinion. And number 3, much better curation of some of the features. While I do like a lot of them here, I just don't think they're utilized very well, which is unfortunate, though makes sense because they're not the star here. But I think they just aren't really working out in pretty much any song here. Though what I will say is that I do really like the song called Memories featuring Umi and Camilo. That song's super cool, and I think the features are well utilized there, just not really anywhere else on this album at all. I'm sorry, DJ Jazzy Jeff, you did not make the cut for this one. And so because I don't want to leave this video on such a sour note, I would just like to mention what my favorite songs here are. That would include Glitch, Comedy, Melody, Fushigi, Memories, and also Kurayami. That is it. That's like 6 out of like 15, I think. There is just not a lot here for me, and I think based off that, I hope my score makes sense. I am almost positive that if you are watching this, your score is probably higher. I'm sorry I could not live up to your expectations, but to be completely fair, this album did not live up to my expectations at all. So it is what it is, you know? Okay, that's everything I have to say about this album. I hate this man. It should have been me. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. If you have any more recommendations for something I might like, let me know. I would love to listen to it and to try it out, and hopefully I do like it, because I like most music, just not a lot of what's happening here. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.